I call the regularly scheduled council meeting of the Menifee City Council to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember August. Councilmember Furman. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Mayor Mann.
Here.
I will note that Councilmember Denver is absent this evening.
And thank you. Do we have Pastor Jim Edwards from Revival Christian Fellowship to deliver the invocation? Please proceed, sir.
Lord in heaven, we thank you for the many blessings that we have. Thank you for the breath that we have, Lord, in our lungs. Thank you for the food in our stomach. Thank you for the clothes on our back. Lord, you're a great God, and we thank you for your provision for all of us. God, we pray today that you would be in the midst of our lives. You'd be in the midst of the proceedings here at the meeting. Lord, may you give wisdom to those who are making decisions for this city. Thank you for the blessing of having our own city. And Lord, we know there's many challenges that come with that, but nothing that we can't resolve with your help and with the cooperation of the people. Help everything to be done decently and in order. Lord, that there would be no selfish ambitions. There would be desires to do things that are best for the whole of the people. And so, Lord, thank you for what you're going to do here. Help the process. We thank you for the many members who serve, all the council members. Lord, thank you for our civil servants, our law enforcement. Lord, thank you for all those who give to the community. May you bless them. God, I pray that we would just celebrate these days upcoming here and really give you thanks for the independence that we have in this nation. Lord, we're certainly blessed. Forgive us when we take those freedoms for granted. And also just like to pray, Lord, for the families of those fallen firefighters, that you would comfort and minister to them as they have their needs in that time of need and grief. But Lord, just give you the evening, and thank you for hearing our prayers. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Edwards. Councilmember August, could you please lead us in the flag salute?
Yeah. Before I do the flag salute tonight, I want to let all you people know that I come from several generations of firefighters, and I know my brother and his family and every firefighter in this country tonight. I know what they're going through with what happened yesterday to the firefighters in Arizona. Our flag's at half-staff tonight to recognize the courage and heroic courage of our fallen firefighters in Arizona yesterday. So let's do the flag salute now. Please join me in the flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we have a couple of presentations this evening. Council, could you join me up front, please? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Menifee Court 2013, would you please join us front and center? Good evening. Congratulations on your installation. Could you tell us your name, please?
My name is Jennifer Walker. My name is Essence Johnson.
My name is Jessie Harris. My name is Adeline Walker. My name is Christian Ramirez.
Would you like to say a couple words about your court for this year?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Lawana Crawford. I am the CEO of Tri-Valley Pageants. Tri-Valley Pageants is a scholarship pageant where we teach ladies how to become young women of today, of the community. I thank you guys for being here. Thank you.
Now, we have some certificates for your outgoing court, and I know that they couldn't be here tonight, so we're hoping that you will present them at an appropriate ceremony when they're available next. Okay. Well, congratulations to you, ladies, and hope you serve in your roles well and provide the leadership with the beautiful smiling faces that you have on today. Thank you very much for doing what you do.
We have something for you. This is, we're presenting this to you on the behalf of the city. This flag was flown over a base in Afghanistan, and it was in honor of the people of Menifee. So we'd like to present this to you.
Thank you very much. Well, on behalf of the entire council, the staff, and the community, we thank you for this presentation, and we will display this prominently in the council chambers. Thank you, ladies, and congratulations once again on your court for this year. Thank you. Okay, our next presentation is a City of Menifee proclamation. Could the Toastmasters Club please join me up front? Yeah, just right up.
That's the Friars Club.
Friars Club. Well, we're going to, on behalf of the City of Menifee, here is a proclamation presented to the Toastmasters Club, and the City Council of Menifee proclaims the month of August of 2013 to be Toastmasters International Awareness Month, approved this second day of July 2013, your Menifee City Council. Congratulations. I'm going to put the Toastmasters on the spot.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Esther Pasha. I'm the Lieutenant Governor of Marketing for Toastmasters District 12. And right here in Menifee, we have two clubs. And for those of you who are not familiar with Toastmasters, Toastmasters is a not-for-profit organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills, but it's a learn-by-doing program. You don't sit down and let the instructor teach you. You do the work. That's how we learn in Toastmasters. That's how you gain confidence. And every week, you can give 2 speeches. We have 2 speakers. We do, what do you call it, Brian? Table topics. You learn to speak on your feet. We do grammar. We have a grammarian. We have an counter. Some of us, when we speak, we have those filler words. You know. So instead of just pausing and speaking, that's what we teach in Toastmasters. Meetings last anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. In Menifee, we have 2 clubs that meet at the Ryland building. One is at lunchtime at 12:05, and another one in the evening at 6:30 p.m. And we're about to start another one on Friday mornings at 7:45. And thank you very much, Mayor and the City Council of Menifee. We appreciate your support of the Toastmasters education program.
Absolutely. It is our pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. I'll try to avoid using ahs and you knows and well, you know, and like, you know, I know, right? You know? So how about, will you want to get a picture of all of us up here for your newsletter? Did you already get one? Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. You got one? All right, we're good. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you so very much.
Code enforcement issues, you got to be relaxed, kind of thing.
Oh.
They all be.
Okay, Madam Clerk, looks like next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from June 18th. May I have a motion?
So moved.
And may I have a second?
Second.
Any objection, any additions? The minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, do we have any agenda modifications tonight?
Yes, sir. Tonight, we would ask that when you come to item 12.2, that you will add to your list of approvals wording that, and I can help with that wording when you get there, that will authorize the city manager to execute appropriate documents.
Okay, I will have you remind us for the language when we get to that.
Yes, sir.
Because there's several motions in those two agenda items. Are there any other additions or changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
Agenda is ordered. Madam Clerk, do we have public commenters this evening?
Yes, sir.
Please proceed.
Louis Mazie.
Honorable Mayor Mann and City Council, I live at 25597 Kayla Court, Menifee, 92586. My oral comments are a summation of my written statements provided to the City Clerk and City Council for the July 2nd, 2013 Council meeting. I wish to begin. I support Council Member Greg August's comments regarding construction of monuments to designate the community of Sun City within the city of Menifee. I would also support a proposed monument message, City of Menifee, Sun City Community. I would support on I-215 if Caltrans approves a freeway sign or signs with a proposed message, City of Menifee, Sun City Community. I also request the entire City Council to approve policies to strengthen the name identity of the City of Menifee and not use the name of Sun City for those residents living in family developments within zip code 92586. These developments are generally west of Valley Boulevard and north of Salt Creek Channel, as well as adjacent pockets of family developments east of Valley Boulevard. Additionally, there are apartment complexes for families located in 92586, which is south of McCall and east of I-215. I also suggest a naming policy for future public buildings within these three distinct communities to have part of each building to include name of City of Menifee, which is important to reflect the vibrant and diverse city of citizens of all ages. A good example is the biggest shopping center in the Sun City core. There has been an influx of commercial retail businesses catering to shoppers of all ages, particularly at night. Historically, the name of Menifee predates the name of Sun City. Del Webb eventually built on 1,200 acres, now known as the Sun City core. The first houses for seniors began after 1960. Although Del Webb purchased 14,000 acres, most of the land was sold to build family and senior developments, generally outside of the senior core, shopping centers, office complexes, and medical office buildings. In summation, let's recognize the recent past, such as Sun City, but also recognize the historical name and history of Menifee, which was the name for the area from the 1880s, and where farming families lived before Sun City was built. We also need to honor the will of the voters who decisively voted for the name of Menifee. This concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mazie. Next speaker, please.
Katie Manier.
Good evening, Katie Manier, City of Menifee. Why is this city not using EIRs for developments that are being approved, not using current EIRs for developments that are being approved? I know they're using EIRs. Audie Murphy Ranch was built using 15-year-old EIRs. This is not just my opinion, but the opinion of the attorneys representing Creed 21, who are opposing the Walmart project due to the violation of CEQA and environmental impact reports. Concerned citizens have previously voiced their concerns over housing developments where decades old EIRs are not being updated and critical information is being omitted, endangering the public. Maybe the solution to this is to have the law offices of Briggs Law Corporation come out here to investigate all of our projects. How much are these lawsuits costing the city with all the cover-ups that are going on? I would like a tally on the total of expenses that were incurred by the city of Menifee, including putting Measure C on the ballot, a 2.5-year lawsuit brought on by Creed 21 to accommodate backdoor shenanigans by the city and staff. Darcy, John, and Scott were sitting city council members at the time these shady deals were being passed off. And I know Wally doesn't like names being used, but I think names are names and they need to be told. People need to know what goes on. Rallying the Planning Commission to review projects would bring transparency and legitimacy to projects. How much hush money is being paid to Carmen Cave? Not hush money, I'm sorry. What golden handshake are we giving her? Seems we paid George Wentz and Bill Rawlings large sums to leave their jobs. Are we now paying the price for concerned residents and the honest city officials who are crying foul over the years? Then I have a letter I'd like to read. It's actually to the Press Enterprise. It's not my letter. It's from a Pat Rainier, who I don't know. I was just asked if I would read it. Thank you for the nice article about the 150th year celebration of the Civil War battle at Gettysburg. What a shame that the city of Menifee had the opportunity to have the largest reenactment west of the Mississippi of the Battle of Gettysburg at the Wooden Nickel Ranch, supported and encouraged by the U.S. veterans at March Air Base Reserve, as well as many others. But the permit was denied by the city of Menifee. You might want to listen to this too, Wally, instead of talking behind the desk. When I asked why, the owner of the Wooden Nickel Ranch said it was because a barn at the ranch was not properly permitted. The ironic thing is that the county of Riverside promised the proper permits on all the buildings, including the one in question, that were moved to at their request, like for like, from the Dominagoni Dam project to the current location at the Wooden Nickel Ranch, but reneged on the promise. Not only did the city of Menifee deny the permit for the event, but they kept the $800 fee that was paid by the formerly homeless veterans at March Air Base Reserve, who's paid for the permit. What a shameless way to treat veterans as well as a citizen who was
Katie,
willing to
that's
have this
your time.
historical event at the ranch. Thank you.
Now, I'm going to correct a statement. The homeless vets at March Air Force Base did not come up with that money of themselves and pay that fee. It was paid by someone else. Moreover, the fee did nowhere near cover the costs of code enforcement actions on this particular property. And in fact, staff's time racked up a bill of $1,923.70, although only $800 was paid. So no, in that situation, staff would not give a refund. Next speaker, please.
Those are all the speakers under public comments, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council member updates and comments. Deputy Mayor Edgerton.
Well, I don't know if I should say anything. Maybe I should get my clothes ready to go to jail. I wanted to make a comment. Rob, I don't want to steal your thunder, but you sent the email. I suppose you'll make these comments. But I did want to compliment Jonathan Smith. Apparently you have promoted him to city engineer. I'm assuming you're probably going to make that announcement later yourself, but I know all of us on the council have worked with you, Jonathan, and everybody is so pleased with the way you have functioned with the council, and I'm certainly happy to see the city manager be so supportive of a good employee. And just a warning to Julie Woodruff, kind of executive assistant for everything. That was the position of Rob Johnson before he became city manager. So you should be careful, Julie, that that'll get you higher than you want to be. But congratulations. I don't think there's anybody in City Hall that's more respected for their professionalism than you are. Well done, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other council member updates or comments? Mr. Furman.
Whatever the situation, it doesn't detract from the fact that 150 years ago, in the Battle of Gettysburg, which was waged exactly 150 years ago today, in that weekend, 165 Americans faced each other, brother to brother, uncle to uncle, and actually killed each other. There was 51,000 casualties at that battle. It was the turning point of the war, and it galvanized America back together, we like to say, and it is a thing that should be remembered tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Furman. Mr. August, do you have any comments for tonight?
No, sir.
All right.
I have more.
You have more? Oh, please
Yeah.
proceed.
Oh, I have more. Yeah.
Well, you gave me a pause, so I was going to
Yeah.
move on to the next.
Well, I
guy.
didn't know if you wanted to move to another councilman
No,
because
you
I'm
have the
going
floor.
to, I'm going to give another, we as a council are trying to make it easier for people to use their land and promote job and economic development in the rural communities. I'm asking my fellow colleagues to relax the rules, okay? Drop expensive and time-consuming efforts to get a major use permit, which could cost as high as $200,000, okay? We could scrap or modify the provisions that constrain growth, okay? Grape growers, wineries, tasting rooms, craft beer makers, nurseries, and entrepreneurial efforts can all happen in our rural community. San Diego alone has 6,600 businesses on 10 acres or less in San Diego County. All right? The niche businesses in the rural community contribute more than just money. It's about a lifestyle and the people being able to show off the fruits of their labor. I would ask council to give direction to code enforcement to forego investigation of such cases until January of 2015 in conjunction with the other ordinance that Scott has submitted. Till we get our ducks in a row on what we're going to do with businesses in the rural community. Now, do I have a second on that?
Mr. Edgerton?
Councilman Furman, I really strongly share your view of not only the rural area, but small businesses across the city. Nationwide, a heavy percentage of employment is by small business. And I think it's up in the 60-some-odd range. It's higher than that. In Menifee, it's probably in the 90%. So I do strongly support your efforts for small businesses, that existing businesses be looked at individually, not en masse, but individually, as opposed to new businesses. But I would include the whole city on that. I would include just the rural area. You know I'm a strong supporter of the rural area. I would throw in one caveat, Tom. You know that almost every member of the city council has worked hard to help you create some kind of agreement with the county and with the city. I have not been one that's ever been involved with your ranch. So I really can't comment on the problems you've had and the challenges you've had at your ranch. I know that the late Fred Twyman really tried very hard. So did Darcy Kinsey, so did Scott Mann, so did most of the people on this council. And you continue, for what reason I don't know because I haven't been involved, but you continue to have significant challenges with the city, which I understand was the reason the Civil War enactment was canceled. And while I support, I'm not going to support some blanket thing to postpone this to the 15th. I support the spirit and the intent, and I'll certainly support you bringing it back so that we can kind of take a second look at it. But Tom, as a colleague, as a councilman, as a public official, and as a citizen, let me advise you in the strongest terms. Don't confuse your personal ranch with the needs of other businesses throughout that city that does not serve you and it does not serve this city. I'll help you in reference to your general situation, and I'll move this to the agenda if that's what you prefer for next week.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here. The discussion is getting beyond, this item is not agendized, and we're talking about council member comments at this juncture. I appreciate your comments, Mr. Furman. I appreciate your comments, Deputy Mayor Edgerton, but this particular item is not agendized, and it would sound to me like it didn't necessarily get a second yet. But as you recall, as we talked about at the last meeting, for the benefit of the public, this council unanimously approved a provisional business license ordinance that gave the business owners that you're talking about almost another 2.5 years to become compliant for issues related to their business. And in some cases, it's going to be rather easy for some of them. You know, and then with respect to your home-based business ordinance, we keep talking about that, and I don't understand what part of we are bringing that ordinance back you don't understand, but it's coming back as part of the city attorney's ordinance review list that we prioritize. So I'm going to leave it with that. And do we have any, Mr. August, you had your light on. Did you want to speak at all tonight about anything for council member updates on any meetings that you've attended or any activities you've done in the community?
Not really. I just wanted to make a comment to Mr. Furman, and I think at the appropriate time, I'm not quite understanding.
Go right ahead.
I'm not understanding what he was actually asking for, but, you know, it's his privilege to be able to ask staff to do a report, and I'd like to find out more about it rather than just to take his word for it.
Okay, I understand. And so let's maintain the decorum of our city council meetings by, if Mr. Furman, you want to add an agenda item, we'll add it at the end of the meeting when we call for additional and future agenda items, okay? And you can make your pitch then. I'm going to move on from the agenda, and I do have a couple of updates. Between last meeting and now, I had the opportunity and privilege to speak to the Sun Meadows residents here in Councilmember August's district. It was a town hall style meeting, and it was a lot of great information and good feedback for us and the staff. I also attended the chamber installation dinner with the 2013 Board of Directors. And I just want to compliment staff and the council and everybody. What a fantastic State of the City event that we had back on June 19th. I appreciate all the support that everyone gave to me and the rest of the team. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. On to the consent calendar. Is there any changes to the consent calendar, council? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I would like to pull 10.6 for a comment.
10.6 has been pulled. Can I have a motion on the balance?
So move.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember August?
Aye.
Councilmember Furman?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton? Mayor Mann?
Aye.
Thank you.
Agenda item 10.6, adopt resolutions ordering preparation of engineer's report. Mr. Furman, you have the floor.
That's the consolidated. Did you get the right one?
10.6, you pulled 10.6.
That's the, consolidated, right. First of all, in the report, it's kind of nice that every time you see something year after year, you catch something new in this report. And the one thing I did find in this report, and it would probably help Marty Rosen, is the installation of trails and the maintenance of trails is under this mantle now. And one other thing also, there wasn't a total amount in the report. Did you see it? Did anybody see a total amount of what this is? Is it 850,000 again, like it was last year?
Madam Clerk?
Did we?
This item sets the public hearing, and I believe those things would be brought forward at the time the item is heard, which would be on your July 16th
Oh, okay.
agenda. This is merely setting the public hearing and preparation of the engineer's report.
Okay, all right, my faux pas.
Well, and the assessment values per parcel per year are contained on page 2 and 3 and beyond of the report. They're
There's
just
no-
not
there's no
aggregated.
total.
There's no total from, as of,
Okay.
you know, what the previous historical assessment may
Okay,
have
if
been.
it's coming back, that's fine, and I will move
Okay.
to move forward.
Is that a motion to approve?
That's a motion.
All right, may I have a second? Second. Do we need a roll call on this?
You do not.
Any objection? So ordered. Okay, on to public hearings. Tonight, we have a public hearing adopting a negative declaration and introduction of ordinance number 2013-119, amending Chapter 9.3, detached accessory buildings of the Menifee Municipal Code. And is there a staff report tonight?
Yes, there is, Mr. Mayor. City Attorney Biggs has that staff report for you.
Can I just make a comment about the report? I just, you know, just to be clear, the detached accessory building ordinance deals with above-ground detached facilities as well as underground detached facilities and not just bunkers. So just a clarification for the public and the record. Thank you. Please proceed, Mr. Johnson.
Please proceed, Ms. Biggs.
Thank you. Having made that clear, then you'll note that the definition of the presentation this evening is, however, bunkers. That is the major change that is being made to this detached accessory building ordinance, and certainly it's been the focus of comment in the council. What I have proposed doing here is to just simply present to you the changes. The accessory building ordinance contains a variety of standards for accessory buildings, and I'm not going to discuss those. I'm just going to discuss the changes that are being proposed. This came out of a subcommittee group and has been worked on by the planning department for quite some time. First of all, there's a definition of the underground facility, which is any facility or structure built completely below grade to be used for storing personal property of the property owner, such as a root cellar, wine cellar, or serving as a shelter or bunker for safety purposes in the event of disaster. It's not to be rented or lived in on a regular basis. Clearly, in terms of times of emergency, it may be used for that purpose. And it cannot be constructed from or of a metal storage container. So those are the definitions and the limitations. Carports are also being addressed in the changes to the ordinance. A carport is defined as a permanently roofed structure with not more than 2 enclosed sides used or intended to be used for motor vehicle shelter and storage. Development standards are set in terms of size for accessory standards, and these have been adjusted. The language has been adjusted slightly in the ordinance. There is no maximum size for bunkers, which are the underground facilities. The maximum for other detached accessory buildings are, as shown here, 600 feet. If you have a half-acre side, from half an acre to an acre, it's 900, and an acre or more, it's 3,000 square feet. Setbacks are set in the ordinance, and these do apply to the underground facilities with the exception of the height limitation. Again, the setbacks, the rear setback is 10 feet, side half acre to an acre is 5 feet, an acre or more is 10. The height, half acre to an acre is 20 feet, an acre or more is 24 feet, and on the underground facility, there's no height limit, as noted. With regard to underground facilities, although there is no limitation on size, any facility over 1,500 square feet has to comply with Section 405 of the California Uniform Building Code, the 2010 edition. And that does have regulations as to access and standards. The maximum rear yard coverage for any accessory building is 50% for all categories, including above ground and any permitted metal storage square footage. Again, there's no coverage issue with regard to underground facilities. Oops. Oh, thank you. With regard to the carport, there must be paved access to vehicle storage units, and no additional curb cuts are allowed to obtain the access that's required. Sludge is another consideration, and there is no Phase 1 environmental site assessment needed for an underground facility unless there's a history of sludge application, and in that case, then there would be an investigation, evaluation, and ultimate determination of the level of review that is required. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Biggs. Are there any questions of staff from the council? Questions only at this time?
Oh, it's been, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it also has, this particular ordinance has been recommended for approval by the Planning Commission.
Thank you very kindly for that clarification. Are there any questions of staff? Hearing none, I'll open this public hearing at 7:35. Madam Clerk, was this properly noticed, and have we received any correspondence on this agenda item?
It was properly noticed, and there's no correspondence other than what's been included in your packet.
Thank you very kindly. And do we have any speakers on this topic tonight?
No, sir.
Very well. I will close the public hearing at time 7:36 and call for any council discussion on this matter at this point. This is between us four up here tonight. Council, what's your pleasure on this item? Mr. Furman.
I move for approval.
There, we have a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion? Roll call vote, please.
I would believe that would be the motion to first adopt the
we have-
negative declaration.
Thank you.
I knew that's what I heard.
Yep.
And
So
the
that's the
second
first
was-
motion. We haven't had a second motion yet. We have to do
All
two.
That was moved by Mr. Furman and seconded by Mr. Edgerton.
Correct.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton. And Mayor Mann.
Aye. May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance, please?
So move.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton.
Aye.
Mayor Mann.
Aye. On to agenda item 11.2, which is another public hearing. Public hearing to establish the fiscal year 2013-14 community service areas charges within the city. Is there a staff report?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, yes, a brief staff report by Terry Willoughby, our finance director.
Thank you. I just want to thank you before you start for changing the name from county service area to community service area.
It still says county on this.
Oh,
It's changed in
I
forever.
take back my compliment.
I'm sorry. Well, we'll change it going on out. But little background, policy A48 of the County of Riverside Board of Supervisors established county policy forming a county service area, now known as community service areas within the city of Menifee, when it is critical to the health, safety, and welfare of residents in unincorporated Riverside County. Funding for these CSA services is through an annual levy of special tax against properties within the CSA. Upon incorporation in 2008, responsibility over various existing county service areas, CSAs, located within the city of Menifee was assumed by the city. These existing CSAs provide several types of different services to portions of the city, primarily street lighting. However, some additional services provided include dedicated law enforcement services for CSA 86, Quail Valley area, parks and recreation services for CSA 145, most of the city's west side, west of the I-215. Existing CSAs within the city include CSA 33, 43, 80, 84, 86, 138, and 145. On October 1st, 2008, the city adopted all counties of Riverside ordinances, including Ordinance 573, which requires preparation and filing of annual report detailing services, parcels, and proposed CSA charges. Notice and a notice public hearing to hear and consider testimony regarding the continuation of CSA charges for extended services for each year. The administration of the CSAs is currently contracted to the Riverside County Economic Development Agency. We are in the last year of that contract. Council is required to annually establish the charges that will fund the services provided within each CSA, which are currently determined by Riverside County EDA. Resolution 13-328, adopted at the June 18th, 2013 meeting, accepted the fiscal year 2013 annual report and directed the city clerk to publish the notice of public hearing for this evening. The July 2nd public hearing has been properly noticed, and City Council action is requested to conduct the public hearing and adopt Resolution 13-330, establishing the charges for 2013-14.
Thank you, Ms. Willoughby. Are there any questions of Ms. Willoughby from the council? I just have one. At some point, could you update, if it's okay with the city manager, could you update the council with what the reserve balance is in CSA 86, the Quail Valley CSA?
Certainly.
They keep asking us for it, and I think Councilmember Furman represents that area, and every time we go to talk to their monthly meeting, they keep asking us what the balance is, and
I have no, I could,
yeah.
with
Could you?
Rob's permission, I could even attend a meeting, or I'll prepare something for him to
Okay.
provide.
Nothing's changing.
Excuse me?
Nothing's changing in Quail Valley.
No.
It'll be the same.
It's the same,
That's what they're worried about.
same level of service and the same level of charges.
Okay, thank you very much. Hearing no other questions, I'm going to open the public hearing at time 7:40. And Madam Clerk, could you confirm, as reflected in the staff report, that this was properly noticed? And
Yes, sir.
have we received any additional correspondence?
It was properly noticed. No correspondence has been received.
Thank you. Do we have any speakers on this item?
No, sir.
I'll close the hearing at 7:40. Call for council discussion. Hearing, do we have any discussion, or can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
And motion to adopt resolution has been seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton. And Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. On to discussion items. Agenda item 12. What is next on the agenda for this?
I'm sorry, sir. Those discussion items begin with award of bid and approve agreements for the Newport Road widening, Antelope to Menifee, CIP 0113, and increased budget.
Fantastic. Is there a staff report, please?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, we do have a staff report. Following the Public Works Workshop on April 30th, this is a pretty exciting night for us, actually. This is one of our major projects that we talked about, identified for the CIP program that was approved by council. We're well ahead of schedule. As you know, we've been talking about this project for several years. I think when I joined the city in September of 2009, we knew the need for this project, and here we are from April 30th to now with the opportunity to approve a contract before you. So I'm going to hand it over to Jonathan Smith, your Public Works Director, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. It's with great pleasure that I have Crystal Nguyen here from the Public Works Department to present to you the status of the upcoming Newport Road widening project. Crystal.
Good evening.
Thanks. Thank you, Jonathan. I had the great honor a couple weeks ago to share with you the Newport widening project as well as the details of the project. This time I'll just do a quick recap and then I'll talk about the final steps to get the shovel hitting the ground. And with that mentioned, the shovel is going to hit pretty soon here. We're going to start, staff is anticipating to start construction the first week of August, which is August 5th. And the project's located on Newport Road between Antelope and Menifee, which is currently a 4-lane roadway. Yet everything to the east of Menifee is a 6-lane roadway. And to the west of Antelope, the proposed I-215 Newport project will improve it to 6 lanes. Logically, this project will add another lane in each direction to make it a consistent 6-lane. To also help with traffic circulation, we're installing an additional left turn lane, which will make it a double left turn from Newport to Antelope. And we're also installing an important safety feature, which is traffic signal on Newport at West Lincoln Vehicle Zone. As I mentioned, we're very close to starting to construction, and the final steps include award the construction contract to the lowest responsible bidder, approve the agreement for construction management and inspection services, approve the agreement for geotechnical services, and increasing the project budget to finance those items. I do want to note that staff will return in a couple months to request council to award the design and construction of just the landscape portion alone for the median. The project was properly advertised for a minimum of 15 days per the Public Contract Code. Bid opening was held on June 24th, with bids ranging from $2.9 million to $3.2. Staff did review the bid package and determined the lowest responsible bidder is Griffith Company. Just a quick summary of that, we did receive 2 bids, and again, the lowest was Griffith Company. Although the contractor is a reputable company, it's very prudent that the city procure professional construction services to help ensure that the final product meets the city standards, plans, and specs. But even more importantly, that they enforce and monitor safety while minimizing disruption to traffic flow and nearby residents. We did send a request for proposal for construction management to 3 qualified firms. These firms have specific experience with working in a road widening project that's a major arterial. We interviewed all 3 firms and found Dudek to rank the highest. We also sent RFPs out to geotechnical services, which we selected 4 firms to send it out. These particular firms have special experience with using recycling pavement process, which I mentioned in the previous meeting before, that saves the city over $1 million when using these recycling processes. Staff reviewed this proposal and ranked Oregon as the highest. The total estimated project cost is $3.6 million, and it does include the construction contract as well as the professional services I've just mentioned. It also includes the design items. The FY 13-14 budget already approved $3 million. An additional fund of $653,000 is required, and they are available in the development impact fee traffic signal and $306,000, and also in Measure A for $347,000. I do want to highlight that because not only this project benefits locally, but also benefits regionally. Neighboring cities now have access to 215, a little bit better access, which is why the city is pursuing the Regional Council Board, WRCOG, for reimbursement for the full project cost of $3.6 million. Finally, in summary, the staff is recommending that we award the bid to Griffith Company in the amount of approximately $2.9 million and authorize the city manager to approve change orders not to exceed 10% of the contract, approve agreement with Dudek for construction inspection in amount of approximately $165,000, again authorizing 10% for change orders, approve agreement for Oregon Geotechnical for $44,000 and 10% change orders. Also to increase the budget in the city's development impact fee for traffic signal in the amount of $306,000 and increase the budget for utilizing city Measure A in an approximate amount of $347,000. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that council may have. Thanks.
Thank you very much for a thorough report. Council, are there any questions of staff? Mr. Edgerton?
Actually, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to point out this traffic, this mismatch has just been the biggest headache and frustration in our city. And the yeoman's work, the great work that Sean Nelson and Rob have done, and Jonathan Smith is just terrific. I wish the public could appreciate the horrendous effort it is to put something like so complicated like this together. Just top marks, guys. Everybody on the council is so appreciative. And in time, I know the community is going to be giving you a lot of yahoos.
Excellent. Fantastic comments. Any other questions of staff? I want to echo those comments as well. Thank you all very much. This is a milestone in the city, the first project, and it's okay to clap. We don't have to wait for us to approve the motions, because I don't think there's anybody up here that's not going to say yes, but we have to go through the formality of doing that. Thank you very much for the staff report. Well done. And thank you, Assistant Executive Director Ruth Ann Taylor Berger, for your support at WRCOG. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have to take 5 separate motions here. Is that correct?
That is correct. Would you like me to help you with that wording?
Please.
Why don't we start with award bid for project to lowest responsible bidder, Griffith Company, in the amount of $2,967,812, and authorize the city manager to approve change orders necessary not to exceed 10% of the contract amount.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton. And Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm sorry to bore you with these long titles, but they are important that we move them in this order and this way. Second one would be approve agreement with Dudek for construction management and inspection services for $165,650 and authorize city manager to approve change orders for the unanticipated additional expenditures necessary not to exceed 10% of the contract amount.
Move to approve.
Seconded by Councilmember August. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you. Your third motion is approve agreement with Aragon Geotechnical Incorporated for geotechnical services in the amount of $44,526 and authorize city manager to approve change orders for additional expenditures necessary not to exceed 10% of the contract amount.
Thank you. May I have a motion? So moved. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Your fourth motion is increase the budget in the city's development impact fee area Plan 17 traffic signal fund by $306,000 in an account to be assigned by the city's finance department.
May I have a motion, please?
Move it.
I'll second it. Let's go, guys.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Mayor Mann.
Aye.
And-
She has to read it.
And your fifth motion, which I think I just got a motion on, is to increase the budget for the Newport Road widening in account in the city Measure A fund by $347,357.
Roll.
Councilmember August. Councilmember Furman. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. And Mayor Mann.
Aye. Congratulations, everybody. Well done. Equally exciting is Agenda Item 12.2, Menifee Road Cooperative Agreement, Credit Agreement, Lien in Lieu Agreements, and Increased Estimated Revenues and Expenditure Budget. Is there a staff report on 12.2?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, it's my pleasure to have Mr. Sean Nelson, your executive consultant, rifle through these 72 agreements now. This is a very complicated project, and I appreciate the council stating that, especially out loud and making points of it. We wouldn't be here today without a huge collaborative effort between not only our internal staff, but our El Dorado Group, LLC, and WRCOG with Ruth Ann Taylor Berger. So we appreciate the representatives being here and appreciate Sean leading the charge on this. Obviously, Menifee Road, this missing link is a huge piece for us, and we talked about it in our Public Works workshop, but we didn't really know how we were going to get it done still. And so Sean's here to tell you how we're going to get it done and how fast it's going to be done. Sean?
Thank you, Rob. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, this item is in regards to the cooperative agreement between the City of Menifee and El Dorado Venture LLP, which also includes the Rancon Group as its managing partner. The main purpose of the cooperative agreement is to expedite the construction of the Menifee Road Missing Link project. Now, El Dorado Venture, they're the residential developer who's directly adjacent to the east portion of the missing link portion of Menifee Road. The missing link of Menifee Road is approximately 1/2 mile of pavement between Simpson Road and Aldergate Drive. The benefits of the Menifee Road project are significant because with this improvement, our citizens will be able to travel north on Menifee Road beyond Highway 74 and to the south all the way to Keller Road. Completing the Menifee Road project prior to the Newport Interchange project is extremely vital to creating additional transportation options for our citizens during the 18 to 21 month construction period of the Newport Interchange, which is scheduled to begin construction in early 2014. Also, this connection of Menifee Road will significantly enhance our emergency responses for police, fire, and paramedics. The main terms of the cooperative agreement include El Dorado, as the developer, will be fully responsible for constructing 4 lanes on Menifee Road. Construction in the agreement must begin prior to August 17th, but El Dorado has stated that they plan to begin construction on August 3rd. It is a 6-month construction period with an estimated completion date by the end of February of 2014. The total project cost for Menifee Road is approximately $5.1 million, and the cooperative agreement proposes that the city of Menifee will advance $1.5 million toward the Menifee Road project, and the city will receive a full reimbursement of our $1.5 million from the TUMF program. And this is also outlined in a letter that we received from WRCOG, and it is included as Exhibit C in the cooperative agreement. The remaining $3.6 million in road costs will be fully paid by El Dorado. Now, based upon the 269 residential units in the El Dorado development, El Dorado's total TUMF obligation is $2.386 million, or nearly $2.4 million. Since the $3.6 million in road costs exceed El Dorado's total TUMF obligation of $2.4 million, El Dorado is entitled to a full TUMF credit of that $2.4 million, which is highlighted in the recommended TUMF credit agreement. And in addition to that $2.4 million, El Dorado is also eligible for a TUMF reimbursement of the remaining $1.2 million as well, which is included in Exhibit D of the TUMF credit agreement, and is something that will be addressed separately between WRCOG and El Dorado, but it is clear that El Dorado is entitled and eligible for a full reimbursement of that amount as well. Finally, with respect to the lien in lieu agreements, El Dorado is proposing to modify the existing $17 million in performance bonds that are currently on the property and convert $13 million of those bonds to liens on the property, with the remaining security of $4 million in performance bonds for Menifee Road that will remain in place for the duration of the construction time frame and warranty period. The benefits of these two lien in lieu agreements is that, first of all, we will improve the overall financial security for the city because the land value of the property is significantly higher than the amount of the liens that will be placed on the property, and the city will keep the existing security of $4 million in place for the entire construction and warranty period. And also, this will assist El Dorado in the sale of the property to a prospective merchant builder. I truly believe that this is an excellent example of how a public-private partnership can benefit the community by working together to solve problems and create a win-win scenario for both parties. I want to thank Jeff Comachero, who's here this evening, and everyone from the El Dorado Rancon team for all their efforts. And I, too, want to echo what the city manager stated related to Ruth Ann Taylor-Berger from WRCOG. She's here as well, and we truly appreciate and value Ruth Ann being here and her assistance with the TUMF reimbursement for the city of Menifee, as well as the TUMF credit agreement for El Dorado. And yes, we're also going to be going for the TUMF reimbursement for the Newport widening project as well, which is a total of $5.15 million that we're going to be going after over the next few months. So Ruth Ann, we appreciate your efforts in that regard. And with that, Mr. Mayor, staff's recommendation that the City Council approve the cooperative agreement, approve the TUMF credit agreement, approve the two lien in lieu agreements, and then finally increase revenues and expenditures by $1.5 million in the fiscal year 2013-14 Capital Projects Fund. And as I already stated, we will be receiving a full reimbursement of that $1.5 million from the TUMF program. And with that, staff is available to answer any questions that the council might have.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for that wonderful report. Mr. Edgerton?
Yeah, I was happy to see Councilman and former mayor and current chairman and businessman Jeff Comachero here, who's an excellent public servant, excellent businessman, but I've known him long enough, I'd never play poker with him. My only concern about, and again, kudos, this, I agree with everything you said. This Menifee punch through is going to be a huge difference to the people, particularly in the Menifee Lakes, Heritage Lakes. That whole east side is going to be helped, and it's going to take a lot of burden off of Newport. I know some studies maintain that 4 lanes would be enough, but just just the history of our freeways. I remember driving on the 15 and the 215 when you were feeling very lonely when you drove down those things. And Menifee Road is, there's going to be more development there and more development on the east side. And I would certainly like to think at least at some point in the future, we made arrangements to be certain that we were going to move to 6 lanes.
Well, the way the county circulation element right now, and Jonathan, you may want to chime in if you want to, the current element calls for 6 lanes, and we're in the process of updating the circulation element. The engineers are studying that carefully, and any recommendation that's made related to Menifee Road, I can assure you, will accommodate trip generation through the build-out of the city as well as the build-out of the county. Mr. Smith will not make a recommendation unless he is absolutely 100% confident that it'll carry the traffic load through the build-out of both the city and the county.
But what you're saying is it is going to move to 6 lanes at some point in the future.
What I'm saying is right now it's at 6 lanes. That's the current designation. The city is in the process of updating the circulation element, and that circulation element recommendation will be brought forward to the city council as a part of the general plan update.
Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, if I could, the current circulation element shows 6 lanes from 74 south all the way to Aldergate. The issue that we have there is there's 2 lanes, then proposing to go to 3 lanes, and then moving up to 74. The circulation numbers that we've just received based on the circulation element for the general plan that's coming back to you for adoption show that the trip generation can, based on car counts, traffic counts, can be 2 lanes to McCall, and then it'll continue to be 3 lanes from McCall all the way to 74. That's what the recommendation is. It's just a different type of designation for the road.
Are you talking about a split of 4 to 6 lanes? In other words, that'd be 4 lanes and moves into 6 lanes?
Correct.
Okay. Because those 4 lanes are going to have to take the traffic off to Dominagoni as they move north.
Correct. It currently is 4 lanes now, and it is built out, so there's no opportunity to move to 6 lanes between Newport and Aldergate.
Right.
So the only opportunity we would have to go to, excuse me, to go to 6 lanes would be from Aldergate north, and traffic counts are proposing that it will be handled through build out with 4 lanes up to McCall. And then from McCall to 74 it would be, and past 74, it would be 6 lanes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions of staff? All right, fantastic. I echo, thank you very much, Mr. Nelson, for the yeoman's. Let's, yeah, exactly. That's a great, I want to echo the comments made about the public-private partnership. Gentlemen, well done. Thank you very much for helping us get this done. And WRCOG, once again, put a lot of heads together. And it's what happens when private developers are allowed to get creative with municipalities and make things happen. So thank you very much. So it would appear then that we have, similar to the previous agenda item, that we have 4 motions that we are required to take separately. And I would also note, before you start reading these, and note the additional language that you read into the record when we modified the agenda at the beginning of the meeting. So if we could have the first agenda item, please.
The
or
first
motion.
item is approve cooperative agreement between the City of Menifee and Eldorado Venture LLLP for Menifee Road and drainage improvements, and authorize city manager to execute appropriate documents.
Motion, please.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton. And Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item.
Your next item is approved TUMF agreement between the City of Menifee and Eldorado Venture LLLP, and authorize the city manager to execute appropriate documents.
So moved. Roll call.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. And Mayor Mann.
Aye. Next
Thank you.
item.
Approve the substitution of performance bonds to lien and lieu agreements with Eldorado Venture LLLP.
Yes. Roll call. It's okay to speak up. Roll call. That was a motion by Mr. Furman and seconded by Mr. Edgerton.
Thank you. Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. And Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you. The final item is approve an increase in the estimated revenues from transportation uniform mitigation fees as outlined in the letter from Western Riverside Council of Governments, and a corresponding increase in the expenditure budget of the Capital Project Fund in a project account to be assigned by the Finance Department.
Motion, please.
Approve.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember August.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, everybody. Seriously. Well done. Well done. Creative thinking and strategic vision gets things done. On to agenda item 12.3. Could you read that, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Authorize staff to prepare a memo of understanding with the County of Riverside to use $200,000 in existing developer contributions for the Regional Aquatics Facility, and authorize city manager to execute the memorandum of understanding on behalf of the city.
Is there a staff report, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of council, a brief staff report. This came out of the Aquatics Ad Hoc Committee meeting, last council meeting. It was suggested by that committee to direct us to bring this back for you for an approval. These are funds that were actual donations prior to cityhood that were for a regional aquatics facility in Menifee or near Menifee. And the request was from the county, who's building the regional aquatic center right on our border for these funds. And the recommended action is to authorize staff to prepare an agreement with the county to approve the use of the existing developer contributions of $200,000 plus the interest gain to support the Paris Menifee Valley Aquatics Regional Facility. It's also to authorize the city manager to sign the MOU, so we wouldn't need to bring that MOU back.
All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I want to compliment Mr. August and Councilmember Denver for their role in this ad hoc committee. Mr. August, did you have anything you'd like to add to this agenda item?
Not really.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion to...
Public comment?
Are there any public comments on this item?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'd entertain a motion to direct staff. Mr. Furman?
I have a few questions.
All right, please proceed.
These are donations. I believe I remember Jeff Stone had an idea to put some kind of an aquatic center in Menifee. Is that where all the money came from in previous years? What I'm trying to say, this is not development impact fee money.
You are correct. It's not developer impact fee money. It's an additional money paid for over and above the conditioning of a project that the developer was conditioned to do.
Yeah.
So it does not
Is that money
have a home.
way back from Jeff Stone and the
Absolutely.
aquatic center? Is
Yes,
that long?
prior to incorporation.
Boy, man, we should have some powerful interest on that money.
We should, and we've been told we need to send that interest over as well.
All right, one deal. I'll move approval then.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. August, since you were on, thank you very much. Do we need a roll call vote on this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please.
Councilmember August. Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton. And Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you very much again, committee and staff, for providing the answers to the questions and for providing a way to free up this money for a well-deserved use. Thank you. On to agenda item 12.4, discussion for possible action to change regular council meeting dates. Is there a staff report?
There is a brief staff report. There was discussion and direction to staff for a day change for regular city council meetings. I believe at the last council meeting, we were asked to bring this back. The suggestion was we could consider another day of the week, possibly Wednesday, for the regular meeting, which would not be an undue burden to the agenda process. That concludes the staff report.
Okay, this is an agenda item that I had requested, so if I'd like to lead a little bit of discussion, if you would indulge me. From my perspective, it would seem to me, let's try this if you're amenable to the idea. We've had Tuesday council meetings since way back before we ever incorporated. As we were council-elect, we started meeting on Tuesdays. And it seems to me, this last weekend and this week are a classic example of why I feel that moving our meetings to Wednesday would better serve the staff and ultimately the public in moving the meeting. It helps with Monday holidays. It helps with the staff's 980 schedule to where, for example, if the city clerk were on her off day on her 980 schedule and it just happened to also coincide with a Monday holiday, it's tough for her to do what she needs to do with a 4-day break and then rolling right into a meeting on a Tuesday. This weekend's events with the Independence Day celebration is also a reason why we could do this when staff has to work over the weekend. It would give Mr. Johnson and the department heads an opportunity to give comp time on the Monday for those staff members who would work at such a significant event. And I think that we did get an email input from the Chamber of Commerce who asked us if we were going to move this to a Wednesday. They asked that it not be on the second Wednesday of the month, as that is when they have all of their monthly chamber events. So my proposal to you, council, is that we do this, we try this out, maybe for the rest of this year, and that we move to a first and third Wednesday schedule for our council meetings. Mr. Furman.
Kind of the only comment I would make, would the planning commission meetings stay on Tuesday? And kind of you have some of the citizens are used to their Tuesday night out as either going to the planning commission or the council meeting. That's kind of my only comment, is the planning commission going to stay on Tuesday, the council on Wednesday? That would be my only comment.
That's a great question, and I think that because this particular agenda item is just for the council, I think if we decide to do this, it would be Wednesday for the council now. Tuesday would have to remain the planning commission until a decision is made to change that, and perhaps when we do our joint council planning commission workshop, we could discuss that and make a decision. Would that be an acceptable mechanism?
Yeah, that's good by me.
Mr. Edgerton?
I don't have any problem with it. You make it in the morning if you want.
That would make Mr. Denver happy.
Katie Manera will still come to the morning meetings. So I want to find out from management, do you approve of this, or do you think the mayor has a lousy idea? What's your thoughts, Joe?
The examples that were set forward with the Monday holiday and the Friday holiday and the 980 schedule, I think it does benefit us. We really see the only day that it could possibly move to would be Wednesday. So obviously we have a tradition of Tuesday night. It would take us a little bit of time to shift gears to go to Wednesday. It wouldn't be that much of a burden on staff, especially for city council meetings. Looking at my city clerk, she may be a bit relieved to have that extra day. I don't know if she'd want to comment out loud, but I don't foresee any issues if a policy is going to be set to move the day.
Is she in favor of Wednesday?
It's absolutely up to you, but having Monday holidays does make a particular burden on a Tuesday meeting, because Tuesdays of council meetings are highly unpredictable days for staff.
So this is a positive for you.
It would be, sir.
You know,
It
there is
wouldn't
another-
have to change the process of your agenda.
There is another positive for the benefit of the public too, because we'll still be publishing the agenda on Thursday afternoon. So if we move it to Wednesday, what it does, it gives an additional review day
That's
for
correct.
everybody, and frankly, it gives us, as a council, you know, when we have that really large packet, it gives us additional time to study and review our material as well. So just a quick clarification, I understand that if we were to make this decision tonight, that we would have to bring it back at a future meeting in the form of a resolution, because it does affect the municipal code. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Actually, we would bring it back in the form of a resolution for you on the 16th.
Right.
To become effective no earlier than the first week of August, or the first meeting in August.
And that's because we already have public hearings noticed for the 16th of July, so
That's right.
we would have to, and that gives us some extra time too. So I would appreciate it if we would try this out, council.
I'll make the motion. Just prior to the motion, I want to make sure, Julie, can you make it? We need a city attorney.
Oh, yeah, you better ask.
Wednesday's fine for me.
Then I'll move.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, do we need a roll call on this? This is just direction to staff?
Yes,
to bring it
that's
back?
correct. Next week with the resolution, we will need a roll
All
call.
right, Mr. August, any objection?
No, sir.
All right, so ordered. Thank you very kindly, council and staff. So, we're moving our meetings to Wednesdays. Spread the word. Next on the
For the rest of
agenda.
the year.
For the rest of the year. And we can talk about that more when we bring the resolution back as to maybe we could assess it during our annual organizational meeting in December. Would that be valuable? Okay. All right, next up is city attorney reports.
The only comment I have is that we are prepared to bring back the home occupation ordinance to the council. However, as I understand it, the agenda for July 16th is quite large. If you want us to bring it on the 16th, we can do that, or we can bring it the first week in August.
I would say postpone it. It's going to be a lengthy discussion. I would think.
Yeah, because I think that would be wise. Are we going to have potentially the container ordinance on the July 16 agenda, or is that?
I think she said yes.
Are we talking the metal containers? I have not heard a report back from your ad hoc
Yeah,
committee.
all right, very good. So, Mr. August?
Yeah, I will let you know, I think we're going to have one more ad hoc committee meeting, but I don't think, Mr. Dinifer suggested we do that first week in August, so I don't think you're going to see that ordinance before
Okay,
first week in
excellent. Then I
August.
think it would be completely appropriate to bring back the home occupation ordinance for review in the first week in August, first meeting in August, which will be a Wednesday, assuming the resolution's approved. Okay. Thank you, Madam Attorney. City Manager reports.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. As earlier pointed out by Deputy Mayor Edgerton, Jonathan Smith, on July 1st, became your Public Works Director, City Engineer, filling a vacated position. So his vacated position of Assistant Public Works Director will be sent out to the public soon. Hopefully, we can start filling in a couple of positions that we were down for quite a while. He's done a phenomenal job, as you can see, put two unbelievably difficult projects together in a very short amount of time. And thank you for your service, and welcome to the position that you hold. And also, as mentioned, Julie Woodruff took on a new title. She is now to be referred to as the Administrative Services Director. What most don't know, even though Julie does a wide variety of things for the city, she had three different sections or divisions of the city actually reporting to her, and did not have the title of a director. She handles the HR for us, which is an interesting job. She handles all the IT management and also the administrative services, the front counter, the first people to greet the public. And she supports the city manager's office in her other title as assistant to the city manager, and of course supports the city council. So we're pleased to be able to do that for her as well. Our Independence Day celebration, 55 or so parade participants. It was a beautiful day. It's about 140 degrees probably on that street as you were coming down. But you know what? The crowd didn't stay away. Everybody came out. It was great. About 70 vendors, approximated people that came, the community, 18 to 20,000 people. And that wasn't my estimate. I made sure that I put that on Battalion Chief George Rodriguez. So I've been looked at as somebody who likes to estimate crowds higher than they are, so I let him do it. Is there an interest on an update from RCTC on the 91 project? That was talked about a while ago, and I just want to make sure that council is still interested in hearing that. Again, it's the Freeway 91 improvements, which are a little bit further out on our regional area, but I was asked to make sure that that's an update that you would like on the 91 project from RCTC.
I appreciate that, Mr. Johnson, because I asked, Mr. Johnson asked me about it for the next agenda, and I just frankly don't recall Councilmember Denver asking for this. So RCTC was here, 2 months ago? doing a presentation on the I-215 central phase and the north phase. And so, council, do we want to take a presentation from RCTC on the 91 improvement project? What's your pleasure? All right, we can talk about that some more, Mr. Manager, and how about if we wait till Mr. Denver gets back? Since he requested it, we'll engage him, and then we'll decide to throw it on or not, okay?
Great. We can always gather the information and share it with council in our city manager updates on the 1st and 15th of the month, if you prefer that.
All right, thanks.
Those are the only issues and reports I have tonight. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Johnson, thank you very much, and Ms. Woodruff is a great promotion as well. Look, she's already acting like a department head. She's she's gone.
She's actually running the IT for tonight because
Sorry, Julie, if you're hearing us in the back.
Derek Williamson is off for the week, so she's actually playing about 3 roles tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Do we have any future agenda requests from council? Mr. Furman.
I want to thank Mr. Mann for giving me the privilege of the floor to maybe clarify some items that bother me an awful lot. Okay. To make it perfectly clear, I am a member of a couple hundred people in a boat that is sailing through the rural community in limbo. I am the captain of the boat. I am the spokesman for the boat. This council's got to look at the bigger picture. Every time I say anything, I get cut off at the knees, and they're constantly referring to problems of the Wood Nickel Ranch. I'm only one of 200 people. I still have the right to speak for my constituents. All right? Please, broaden your horizons and think of the bigger picture. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Furman, for clarification. Were you asking?
No.
Okay,
No,
all right,
good.
very good. Any other are there any future agenda requests? Mr. August?
Yeah, I have two items for staff tonight, and I'll go ahead and read them. I have talked with Mr. Johnson and some members on the staff about these before. And if Mr. Mazy's still here, I just want him to know I do appreciate him, and I'll submit his comments to staff for review also. I'd like to request from staff to prepare a report and come back to the council on the 16th if that's possible for a freeway sign on Highway 215 north and south of McCall Boulevard, reflecting the identity of Sun City, the Sun City core area, the core business district, or something like that. As an example, I did submit a signage several months ago to the staff, and it said Menifee, Sun City's original district, something like that, but we can review several ideas on that. If the staff could get back to the council on the 16th with some support information along with any different or additional ideas, the council can begin discussion. Questions might be, can it be done? Would it achieve a goal? How much might it cost? How long would it take? Should it be an integrated sign with the City of Menifee freeway signs, or be a separate sign, or a different kind of a sign, or maybe no sign at all? I am thinking that such a sign might help in revitalizing the Sun City commercial district and instill maybe some badly needed pride and respect back in the Sun City core area. We can debate the pros and cons on the 16th or later. I need a second for
I'll give you a
this.
second.
Okay. Secondly, and much shorter, I request that the staff review and amend the city's ordinance 2009-22, the temporary use permits ordinance, to rewrite the guidelines and definition for the farmers market, which are at the present times to be too restrictive and non-compliable. This was recently expressed at the Sun City Cherry Hills Farmer Market Management Team in a meeting with staff, with myself and Councilman Edgerton at the meeting on June the 24th. I would suggest staff work together with the management team and save a very important event in Sun City.
All right.
Thank you.
If I could interject as the one who helped set the agenda with staff, City Attorney, we went through an ordinance prioritization process, and since we authorized that list, we've added some additional work for you. Would it be possible, since July 16th's agenda is so robust, perhaps at your discretion, whether it be at the July 16 meeting or the first meeting in August, maybe in city attorney reports, or maybe even a separate agenda item, give us an opportunity to prioritize these things. Obviously, we've had a discussion about the home-based business ordinance. That should probably come first, so you know you've got guidance on that one. But all the other ones, the temporary use permit, the signage issue in the city, kenneling and boarding, all those ordinances that we still need to get to, we don't want to disrupt staff's workflow. And if it pleases the city manager and you, if we could maybe help you prioritize that a little bit, is that something that would be helpful to you?
Yes, actually, we have been, as you know, busy doing quite a few ordinance revisions and that kind of thing. And it would be helpful to take a moment and make a list of what we have done and what we still have to do, and then whatever else you want to add to that, that we can see where you want us to go with that.
Okay, sounds good. Mr. Furman?
Could we make use of our planning commission in helping out and reviewing this stuff? Why couldn't we put it on their plate?
Are there typically ordinances aren't necessarily go through the planning commission unless there's specific, unless we give direction to do that?
Well, the only things that go to the planning commission would be the zoning or other laws that that actually they deal with. A number of these things are not planning commission, but many of them are. So some of them will have to go there to begin.
Nothing to do, can we?
Usually, it comes down
Take
to
advantage of them.
your priority as to how you want to see them in the process.
So would it be possible for you to, when you bring it back and ask for clarification, advise us which ones maybe should go to the planning commission?
Sure.
And that'll give us a comfort level and
Sure.
clarity and transparency to the public.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, just a quick response to Mr. August. We'll be preparing those two items for you, but I'd like to throw it to Jonathan Smith, who's already been working on the freeway signage issue, and he has some much different information than what we've received over the past couple of years. So I don't know if it's just new luck on his part or if he actually knows what he's doing. No, I'm just kidding. Jonathan, could you give us just a brief update on your brief discussions with Caltrans on the signage?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. City Manager. As Councilmember August mentioned, he did come up with a suggestion on the roadway sign that Public Works staff has contacted Caltrans and is working with Mr. John Hubbs on the review of this type of a sign, not the approval of it, but whether or not Caltrans will allow this type of sign. And initial information is they may change the color of it.
Yes,
Secondly,
to the brown?
correct.
Yeah, that'd be my preference. It gives it more of a historical landmark kind of thing.
Correct. And as well as seeking approval for this type of a sign on the freeway, we're concurrently working with their encroachment permit division and moving that process along to be prepared to move forward and install 2 signs for the Sun City area. That would be, one would be located northbound 215 near mile marker 19.5, and the second one southbound 215 close to mile marker 22.
So I am unsure of why we received information previously that this was not a possibility, and I thank Mr. Smith for going the extra mile to make sure that this can happen, and we'll give you an update at the next council meeting and possibly show you what some of those signage could look like, and we can move from there.
See, you made him the city engineer, and he cracked the nut.
Yeah, there we go.
Good job. Here we go. So, are there any additional agenda requests from council? Mr. Edgerton?
Not an agenda request, just pointing out sometimes we have VIPs and luminaries, very important people in the audience, and I just saw one of our planning commissioners sitting here, Lisa Sobek, who I would remind everyone we had to applaud one night because Melissa Melendez, Assemblywoman, chose her as the Woman of the Year for Menifee, and there she is with that kind of little bright star over her head, and I just want to recognize her. I think you've already recognized her at some point.
Yes,
in the
but
past.
shame on me. I forgot to introduce her at the State of the City. So.
Well, here's your chance.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for everything that you do, Lisa. Any additional requests from council? Hearing none, we adjourn this meeting in honor of the 19 firefighters who lost their lives in the mountains of northern Arizona. We are adjourned.
Okay.